Well, hey friends, welcome to MyFi. Glad that you're here. Another great episode for you today. I'm super excited. I talked to a fresh, young, I'm going to say alternative pop artist, my friend Okay Kenedi. And she has a single out called Young, Dumb, and Naive, and it's fantastic. You can stream it everywhere. You can check out the YouTube, the official video, the lyric video. There's all sorts of stuff on YouTube that we kind of get into in the interview as well. But first, just hit subscribe wherever you're at. YouTube, Apple Podcast, Stitcher. Y'all know the drill. Hit subscribe so you can get all the notifications and whatnot, and share the show with people if you've been digging it. We've had some great guests to start the year. If you missed episodes with Dylan Nash from the band Lily, it was great episode. My friend JD Clayton was just on the episode today. We got Okay Kenedi. We got some great episodes lined up for the next couple of months. So we're super excited about it. 2023 is getting off to a fantastic start for MyFi, and we got a great show for you today. So let's get into it. Yeah. Yes. Man, the Grammys were last night, and I didn't get to see them. So I'm still like, it's the day after the Grammys that I'm recording this episode, and I'm still flipping through social media and like getting the lay of the land of like kind of what happened last night at the Grammys. So I don't even know enough to comment yet, but I did see Okay Kenedi and I talked a little bit about the controversial or whatever it was that Raitt, I guess, won in a category. Maybe it was record of the year or something. She won and beat out like Taylor Swift and Adele, and I don't know. I don't even know the song. So now I'm into it. I'm going to go listen to the Raitt track as soon as I'm done with the podcast and like check this out. I've been catching clips, and I heard the Bad Bunny performance was amazing. I saw some clips of it. It looked super cool. Can't wait to go catch up on it. I'm really bummed I missed it. But my daughter was in a playoff basketball game and they won, and she had a lot of points. So as a dad, I missed the Grammys for a really good reason. I just want you guys to know that I'm a music fan, but dad first, you know what I'm saying? So anyway, pop music is seems to be alive and well. Not just at the Grammys. I think there were some great pop releases. I saw the Harry Styles record won album of the year, I think. And rightly so. That was one of my favorites. If you missed, I did a bonus episode back in December on my top 10 records of the year. Harry's House was in there. And I think pop music is just in a great situation right now. Some people disagree with me, but I think the Taylor Swift Midnights record, at first I listened to it and I was like, eh. And then I caught a different single, maybe. I don't know. I gave it another shot, and I was into it, man. I've been listening to that record a lot. I think Anatoff's production on it, the production on it was really great. I think the songs are really great. It's an interesting album for sure. I'm interested to see how she follows it up. But yeah, I think pop music's doing great. So I was thinking, for the intro today, I wanted to talk about some maybe lesser known pop music that's out there that I think is really great. So hopefully if you've heard of these artists, awesome. If you haven't, go check them out. But a lot of times people send me these things, and partly because Okay Kenedi's on, I would put her music in the alternative pop or pop kind of category. Incredibly, she's a great songwriter. I've just heard this one track, but there's a lot of tunes we talk about a little bit in the episode. That they've got an album's worth of material that they've worked on, maybe completed. I don't think we got into all that, but we talk about some stuff you'll hear in the interview. But anyway, I would put her in that category too. And there's a lot of bands right now, or artists right now, I should say, that I think are just great pop artists. My friend Richard sent me an artist not too long ago called Fickle Friends. They're a UK band. I think their first record dropped in 2016-ish. But their most recent album just fantastic. Got hooked on a couple of songs of it. Fickle Friends, go check them out. Betty Who's been around for a little while. I think that she's on her third-ish record. I'm kind of guessing. I kind of purposefully didn't go research all this. So I'm just a fan. I'm just talking to you as a fan. I'm not like the press. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to act like, I know it all. I didn't go do all this research. I'm just a fan of these people. Okay. So I'm talking purely as a fan. I'm not trying to promote anybody. Well, I am trying to promote Okay Kenedi because she's on the show and her music's great, but I do like. I'm just a fan of hers too, and the single that's out. So anyway, Fickle Friends, Betty Who. My son actually the other day we were cruising around. I was like, hey, who are you listening to? He's 15. I was like, who are you into? And he talked to me about this band called Half Alive that I checked out, and yeah, they're excellent too. I think he and I are gonna see if we can go catch them here in the Atlanta area. I think they're here in April, something like that. So we're going to try to go catch Half Alive. And then I caught a performance on Fallon last week from an artist, Dayglow, and it was great too. And just super kind of bedroom indie pop kind of stuff, but really great performance, really energetic. And I think a lot of these young upcoming pop artists are really grateful for the way that their careers are going, and they just have this great like attitude and atmosphere about them. And I definitely saw that watching that Dayglow performance on Fallon, and watching some of the videos of Half Alive, and especially in this conversation I had with OK Kenedi today too. And but before I jump into that, I want to tell you a little bit about her, and we get into the interview. Let's do record of the week. Record of the week is actually Coldplay X and Y. And I have a great vinyl copy of it. I didn't pull it, but it's a repress. I mean, as you would think, I don't even know that they were pressing vinyl when that record came out. But anyway, X and Y was this interesting Coldplay album, and to me, it was like the end of an era in Coldplay, because after that, I think they're great. Coldplay's fine. I haven't been as into their last few records. I don't know. They just hadn't caught me. But X and Y was the last like full Coldplay album that I was like, whoa, this is an incredible album. And after it released, I was informed that the whole album was an homage and like an honoring thing to Kraftwerk, who I've been a fan of for a long time, Trans Europe Express, and all that sort of stuff. And there's a track on. So it went as far as even that on the X and Y tour, they kind of dressed like Kraftwerk. Kraftwerk is a German electronic band that started in the 70s, and they were kind of pioneers. Like, they have a track called Metal on Metal that's one of the most sampled tracks in hip hop. The song Computer Love was a hit for them, and it's actually where Coldplay got the riff for the song Talk that is on X and Y. So there's a really great guitar hook that starts the song Talk on X and Y, and it's actually the hook from the Kraftwerk song Computer Love. So if you start digging into that, if you're a Coldplay fan or a Kraftwerk fan, and you start digging, you're going to find all these connections that Coldplay was really trying to give props to Kraftwerk. I mentioned a minute ago, they dressed like Kraftwerk on that tour. They were in like all black with white shoes, and Kraftwerk's always known for, they dress alike and they stand on a stage in front of their laptops and all this sort of thing, and they have like cool LED shows, or screens and all that sort of stuff. Unfortunately, one of their founding members passed away a couple of years ago, and they're still touring and doing their thing. But I think it's the first time in the history of that band they're not all original guys. But anyway, record of the week, Coldplay X and Y. And while you're at it, go check out Kraftwerk. Trans Europe Express is a great record as well, and obviously had a lot of inspiration for Coldplay X and Y. But let's jump in to the episode this week. Had a great conversation with my friend Okay Kenedi. She's a Georgia born and raised pop star in the making. And when I say that, I don't say it lightly. She's got great vocal skills. She's a great songwriter. She's kind of, I guess, quietly cultivated these things. She tells a great story in the interview today about the time that she almost gave up on music. And I'm really glad that she didn't. She just recently released her debut single, Young, Dumb, and Naive, to rave reviews. I haven't met someone who I've showed the song to who hasn't gone, wow, this is really special. It's a really special tune. She's worked with Jared Prisbiz, who I know, and Dan Hannon, who I also know. They're both great producers. Dan's worked with Manchester Orchestra and Paris Jackson, and has been an incredible producer for years and years. They're both incredible songwriters. She recorded this project and the subsequent singles to come at a great studio in Muscle Shoals, Alabama, called Ivory Manor at the Shoals, owned by a great dude named Michael Raitt. And she's surrounded by great people. She writes great songs. These songs have been recorded well in a historic town, in a great recording studio. And so I just can't wait to see what happens with her career. You can check out her website's just okkenedi.com, OKAY. Kenedi, okkenedi.com. And that's her socials too, at Okay Kenedi. You can find her on YouTube, where she's done this great series of vlogs that we talk a little bit about in the interview, but it's like all this behind the scenes stuff. And she does them, really regularly. And so you can kind of get a sense of her just personality is super fun and all that sort of stuff. And then the process of making the record and all that, if that stuff interests you, go check it out, because it's really entertaining and really fun and really great to see all the behind the scenes stuff. But with no further ado, let's jump into this conversation I had with my friend, Okay Kenedi. Okay Kenedi, how are you?
I'm great. How are you? I'm
doing great. It's great to have you on the show.
I'm happy to be here. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, absolutely. We were talking a little bit before I hit record here, and I'm obsessed with Young, Dumb, and Naive, the single, the new debut single. My kids are. I've heard it at like tons of places I've been recently. Some of them we were at the same place, gatherings and whatnot. But it seems like the song seems so big and I guess developed for like a debut. Like, do you feel that way about it, or does it feel like I'm listening to the single going like, this has got to be like a third record or something. And it's like the first song. It just feels like really awesome. Does it feel that way to you, or does it feel brand new? Like what are you thinking right now?
Well, I'm blown away by the response. First of all, I think it's been super cool, like to see something that I've lived with for pretty much a year, go out into the world and be so supported. People have been really supportive, and that's blown me away. I think it is a big song. It's huge. And I owe a lot of that to the team I've been working with. And that it's funny that you say it sounds like a third record or whatever. That's probably because it's my first record, but everyone else on the team, it's not their first record. So I feel like I benefited from that, because I got to double on like their experience and stuff. So they make it sound so good, even though it's my freshman release. I don't even know what number release it is. So it's like all that wisdom and all that work combined into this song. So I wrote it just me and my acoustic. So to hear it like that is like crazy.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah. The only context I have is the single itself. So I'm sure, is that how you normally write? Just you and guitar?
Yes. Typically, I'd say 95% of the time, it's just me and my guitar or at a piano.
Is that how you've always, did you grow up playing? Like how old were you when you got your first instrument? Like, what was that?
I grew up, my family was really involved in church, and my dad sang, my grandmother played piano for the church. And so I grew up around music all the time. And it's funny, I have like little home videos of me taking just interest in my grandmother's piano at like 18, 19 months. Wow. So my parents put me in piano lessons around 5. And then I took piano for like 9 years. Then I taught myself guitar on YouTube, because you can go to like university on YouTube.
Yeah, totally.
And then, I don't know, and then I always wrote songs. So just like I have home videos of me as a kid crawling on pianos and whatever, I have these little notebooks I've kept. When I first started being able to like write in a notebook, where it says Kenedi songs and like, little kid handwriting, and I just all these words and scribbles and stuff. So people ask me that all the time. They're like, when did you start writing songs? And I can never give like a pointed answer, because to me, I've always written songs, because I can't remember life before writing songs, even when they made no sense and they were scribbles and hearts and circles. So
sure.
Always, I think.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Do you remember early on like an encounter, like a song or an artist or something that you heard that was like a moment for you? It was like, oh man, that's really cool. Like a record, an artist, anything like that?
Yeah. Don't laugh at me.
That's fine. That's fine.
Okay.
You'd be surprised at people's answers to this question. Yeah.
I think I grew up in my home. Like my dad was a pastor, and we were not allowed to listen to secular music growing up. But when my dad would leave, my mom was a huge like 80s rock and roll fan.
Yes.
So when dad left, we got to play like some 80s rock and roll music. And my mom went through this phase with me where she loved the Pina Colada song. And so she would grab wooden spoons in the kitchen and hand me one, and we would sing the Pina Colada song to each other. So I remember like growing up with that memory, Pina Colada Song and Jesse's Girl, and going like, music can be this, it can make people have this much fun and be this cool. And I remember it as if it was yesterday. And so I don't know, those songs resonate with me. I think they're super fun, but also it's the association of, wow, like, I don't know, these songs, my mom has so much fun with these songs. I have so much fun when we play these songs. And it just like, it stuck with me.
Yeah. Do you remember, was there a time when you got to like go pick up your own music, and, you know, what was the first thing that Kenedi reached for when you went to the record store, or I guess at your age, the CD store or the iTunes download store?
iTunes downloads.
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go. But
Yeah.
even before iTunes downloads, you know how you could like rip things off of YouTube and put them on your computer?
Oh yeah.
I was really good at that. So of course I went straight for the 80s rock and roll because of the association with Mob and everything.
You say 80s rock. What?
Yeah.
Like who?
Yeah. Okay. Journey, of course. Big fan of Faithfully. I think that song, it does not get near the much, like, I don't know, clout that it should. Jesse's Girl. I'm such a song by song person that it was never for me just like one artist. It was a song at a time. So, you know, I loved what is the song? Welcome to the Jungle. We got fun and gay.
Guns N' Roses. Come on. Yeah.
Stuff like that. And none of my friends were listening to that. So everybody would be like, oh, do you know this new record that just came out? And I was like, no, but guys, have you heard of like Guns N' Roses? Because I didn't grow up with Guns N' Roses. I'm just now discovering Guns N' Roses. So, so I never had like, I don't know, I could not ever connect with my friends for a while over music because I feel like I was playing catch up from things I wasn't allowed to listen to. But I was blown away by that stuff. And then, of course, you know, I had to have the stereotypical like Jonas Brothers and you know, of my age, all the girls in 6th, 7th grade, Jonas Brothers and Hannah Montana and High School Musical, all that stuff. So I had all that as well. Today I'm ashamed to admit that, but I did.
No. Hey, you know what? It's so funny to me. Like I went through like a huge like indie snob phase in my 20s. You know what I'm saying? Like, and not I don't know. I think I've gotten to the point where if it does something to you, I don't know. I was literally thinking about this today. There's like songs that people go, man, that song was just like a gimmick. Well, yeah, but that doesn't mean like that the people who created it weren't like cool people or like talented. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if like Who Let the Dogs Out is hilarious. You know what I'm saying? Like we go like, that's ridiculous. It's a ridiculous song, but it was like one of the biggest songs of all time. And I don't know the Baja Men. No. They could be cool hangs. They could be like super talented producers for all I know. I don't know who they are. And so even like the gimmicky stuff, I mean, I don't know. It takes a lot to share music, sell records, whatever it is, you know, get streams on like a massive level. So I don't know, man, like Hannah Montana did something right because Miley Cyrus's career seems to be going just fine.
Hey, and everyone I was in school with, they all knew those songs. So doing something.
I mean, we pulled some of that up on Disney Plus the other day because my kids grew up in that generation too. So, I mean, I know Hannah Montana stuff. I'm not ashamed, but I grew up in the Guns N' Roses era. So, and I still got sucked into High School Musical and all that stuff. I mean, don't be ashamed, Kenedi. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah. Well, thank you for that. Thank you for that.
Who are you? Who are you listening to right now? I mean, the Grammys were just this past weekend.
I watched them. Yeah.
Yeah. What were you excited about it? Like.
I was. Well, I really love Brandi Carlisle's album In These Silent Days.
Oh, she's great.
To me, I think that is one of the best records I've heard in a really long time. Right on Time, phenomenal song. Of course, Broken Horses, but I think Right on Time might be my favorite. So I was really pulling for her to win. And I saw she won a Grammy for the rock performance for Broken Horses, but I was holding on for that best album. But I love that album. That record is phenomenal to me. I think the writing of it, I don't know, she plays with lots of different styles in it that I find really cool. And I was a great writer. I'm a big lyrics person.
Yeah, same.
So I love to like break down her lyrics, look at them. And I was never like a huge Brandi Carlisle fan until that record. And then I went, oh my gosh, like I've been sleeping on Brandi Carlisle. This is phenomenal. So yeah, and there's some good performances. Did you watch it?
No. I didn't.
It's pretty good.
I didn't. I was at a basketball game. I got kids, you know what I'm saying? So.
Oh yeah.
You know,
I had friends over. We watched the Grammys because I don't have kids.
Nice. Nice. Well, good for you. I did hear the controversial. I was like scrolling through this morning during my workout, watching YouTube clips and social media clips and everything, and caught the Bonnie Raitt thing. Like there was a lot of people upset about Bonnie Raitt, like which I don't even know that I've heard that song, the whatever track it was from Bonnie Raitt, but it like beat Adele and Taylor Swift and whatever. And I don't know if you've seen, but I saw this Instagram clip. Apparently there was a UK news outlet that said some unknown blues singer beats out Taylor Swift and Adele. And I was like, ooh, that's not going to look good. And now it's all day. It's like everybody's just posting this. Like, I don't know. What'd you think? Bonnie Raitt beating Adele and Taylor Swift and all that?
Bonnie Raitt's a classic. Like I wasn't mad about it. I don't know. She won, and I have a little brother who's a huge Taylor Swift fan, and he was so mad about it. And I was like, I don't know. Like I feel like everybody else that was up against her, Bonnie Raitt is she paved a lot of the way for them, and I don't know. I think we get like all these mainstream, and it's like these people deserve to win because they have names like Taylor Swift and Adele and whatnot, and we forget people like Bonnie Raitt. And I think I was happy she won. I was like, that's really cool. Willie Nelson won stuff too, so I thought that was super cool as well.
I always think it's cool when like artists like later in their career, like Bonnie Raitt's not in the prime of her career, most would say. And still, I think that's cool when they can get recognized. I love that it shows like people can make great art their whole lives. Last year, I think Olivia Rodrigo won a couple or three or something, and she was like, I don't know, was she 17 last year, 18 years old or something? Young. So I think it's great. Like 17, 18-year-old people can win awards, and 70-plus-year-old people can win Grammys, and it's great. So I'm bummed I didn't get to watch it, but. Are there some of those artists now, like maybe not the Grammy winners, but like right now, who's hot that you're like, man, I love that record or that artist? Who are you into right now?
Other than Brandi Carlisle, I think someone I've recently started listening to is Zach Bryan, he's pretty popular because of the track Orange, but he's got a song called Half Grown that I think phenomenally written. If you haven't checked it out, you've got to. The lyrics are, if you're a lyrics guy, like I love lyrics. You just look at that song, you're like, wow, that's a masterpiece. Yeah. So I've been listening to some of his stuff.
Yeah. Are you more attracted to songwriters or musicians or producer type artists? Like what do you lean towards mostly?
I think I'm always just attracted to a song first. And if I like really resonate with a song, then I dig into that artist. And typically I think maybe because I'm a songwriter, I gravitate towards other songwriters. But there are some really, really like well done songs, performed by people who didn't write them. So I don't know. I've always been a song by song kind of person rather than a artist only.
Really?
Yeah. I know that's different. That's different than most people.
Well, I wonder if it's a generational thing though, that you didn't really grow up in the album era per se, and so now it's like singles and, people drop multiple singles before their whole album comes out where, at least, up until, I don't know, maybe 2012, 13-ish, maybe that little shift started in the industry. But like for the most part, you got one single and then the whole album dropped, and then singles would keep dropping to keep the album in the charts, and now you're like a brand new artist coming out. I mean, what do you think about it? You have one single out. I'm sure that you have plans for the future. Like, how does that make you process as an artist, your own career just starting right now? What are you processing in the day of single releases and all that sort of stuff?
I'm learning so much so fast.
I bet.
It's
Me
almost
too.
like, I'm trying to keep my head above water. I like before we were in the red, I was telling you that like a little over a year ago, I almost quit music.
Oh yeah. I want to hear this.
Yeah. I was writing, and it just, I don't know. I didn't get I felt like I wasn't going anywhere, and I was at a point in my life where I was like, I really need to like figure out what I'm going to do with my life. And like, there's just, I don't know, everyone was telling me, the realistic side of your friends and family are like, what are you going to do with your life? Like, this is a fine dream, but you're not making money with this, and you're becoming an adult, and you need to move out, and you need to do this stuff. And so I was like, well, they're probably right. And I don't know, I'm struggling with music right now, and I probably need to move on with my life. So I was playing with a lot of the same people that I play with now that are in my band now. And I told them like, okay, by the end of the year, if we haven't done X, Y, and Z, or we don't see traction in these things, I'm calling it. I'm quitting. So by December, of 2021, if I don't see significant growth, I'm done. And then I was playing a little show at Smith's Old Bar in Atlanta.
Nice.
I've been asked to headline a little show for someone who had just released like their first record. And so it was a younger kid, and a bunch of his parents and friends of what came to support him. And then they ended up all leaving right before I went on. And there was like there's like maybe 5 to 10 people in the audience that were just my friends. And I knew all of them. So I was like, I'm quitting in December. I'm totally quitting. Like, this is just not. And actually, Dan Hannon had been asked to come see the guy that had opened up for me, and he ended up staying for my set. And that after that show, that I just gave my show to my friends. Like, I was like, whatever, I'm gonna give you guys the best show ever because you're here and you love me and I love you guys and we're just gonna have a bunch of fun. And so I just sold that thing. And I was like, if this is like my last show ever, I'm gonna go out, oorah. And so I played that show, and then Dan Hannon came up to me afterwards and started asking me questions, and I didn't know who he was. Okay. And so I was like, who is this guy? Like, why is he so interested in in Atlanta? I don't know if you're familiar with the Atlanta scene. Everybody comes up to you after, and it's like, I'm a producer and I make, and so you're like, okay, man. So my bass player handles a bunch of details and stuff. So I kind of sent him to her, and she ended up being like, who is this guy? Anyway, we totally blew off Dan Hannon, and that's the story now. We're like, he's creepy. Stop talking to me. So he makes fun of us now, but that's where I met him. And he was like, I want you to come, will you like, let's meet up, let's hang out, let's talk about this. If you're serious about this, I'm really interested in producing you. And so long story short, that's how I got involved with Dan, literally 3 months before I had planned to quit. And so had he not been in the room in that moment, had I not agreed to headline that show, which I almost backed out of, had I not just decided to just sell it to my friends, like, I don't even know that I would be sitting here in this moment. So it's crazy, like how it's all worked out. So hearing like Young, Dumb and Naive is like surreal to me in lots of ways, but I think lots of different ways, because I was so close not to having that, or not to being on this podcast, or not doing any of this. Had things not lined up so perfectly.
Have you had other moments like that, like throughout the journey, those linchpin kind of things?
Yeah, I mean, like, I don't know. The crazy part is I came into the studio, we were just going to record 1, maybe 2 singles. And then we did that, and we're like, this is going so well, let's make an album. And so Young, Dumb and Naive, I didn't even bring in that song till halfway through the journry.
Oh, wow.
And that ended up being the first single. So it's, we have songs that we recorded before that and songs we recorded after that, sitting and waiting. So it's
nice.
I don't know. The way life goes and the timing and how it all plans out, it's pretty crazy.
Man, I can absolutely attest to that. But kudos to you for sticking it out. It's rough out there.
Yeah, they don't tell you that.
Yeah.
TikTok
nobody warns you.
No, they don't tell you.
Nobody warns you. Fresh out. Grit. Yeah, you do. And it seems like you're surrounded by great people. Have you been playing with your bandmates for a long time? The way you talk, it seems like you've been friends with them for a while, or at least with this iteration of the group or whatever.
Yeah, it's really like my bass player, Michaela Wise, and my drummer, Sarah Dickerson. They've been my friends for a long time, and I've been playing with them for forever. Everybody else has kind of moved in and out. And even like Jared Pershibish, he's plays electric right now, and Eli Hannon's playing keys. And I just I met them in the last year when I started recording with Dan. But they're awesome. But yeah, Michaela and Sarah, I think we've been friends for like 6-7 years and playing together for that long. So they've been with me through the whole we're gonna quit phase.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. So you're new to the scene. Are there artists right now that you sit around and kind of dream a little bit and go, man, if I could open up for them, that would be really cool? Yeah.
Gosh, if I could open up for someone, my brain's going like a list of people, but if I could, I'm really into Maggie Rodgers right now.
Oh, nice.
I love Maggie Rodgers. I think her new record is super cool. She has a lot of vibes and sounds that I really like. Her writing's really cool. I keep saying Brandi Carlisle, and I'm not going to get away from that one because she's also really cool. Yeah. Also, I'm a huge Elvis fan, and I know obviously I can't open for Elvis, but
I mean, that would be a trick.
That would be. But I grew up, my grandmother was a huge Elvis fan. I inherited like a bunch of records that she had from him. So nice. He's pretty awesome. Yeah, who else?
You keep talking about country artists.
I know, and I don't even listen to country music that much. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah, well, it shocks me a little bit because I just based on even the show opening today, I'll usually do something in the show opening that kind of is attached a little bit to like the style or the genre or the background or something of the artist that I'm interviewing. So in today's opening, I talked a little bit about like alternative pop music, which is kind of where I would place at least the one song I've heard. You know, it's unfair to put you in a genre after one track, but like, but I would go, oh, it's alternative pop, it's something. Yep. So I talked about a few artists, Fickle Friends and Betty Who, and, you know, some people like that are just current great pop stars, you know, I think. Yeah. And so it's interesting to me that you've mentioned mostly like great country Americana singer-songwriters.
I know I think my music taste is so random. And it's probably because I wasn't allowed to listen to anything growing up. That's so random. I just pull.
When were you allowed? When did the curtain get pulled back on music?
I don't know yet that I'm still allowed, you know? So I just kind of became an adult and was like, all right, I'm doing this. Okay. So I'm still learning. Like I joke with Dan all the time. Like I'm so far behind the curve on what I feel like most people that I'm like peers with, like I'm so far behind my music knowledge. And so he sent me like all these little YouTube videos and he sends me TikToks. He's like, you got to learn this person. You got to know who this is. But yeah, I don't know. Like, I think literally in the last maybe 5 years, I've just started delving into a bunch of music. Wow. And so, yeah, I'm a baby when it comes to music. So it's new to me. And I think alternative pop I think that's a great genre to put me in. I think obviously I know the rest of the record. I think the whole record probably falls somewhere into that alternative singer-songwriter kind of thing. And so I think that's probably one of the reasons I really like Maggie Rodgers is because she plays with that. I know I like Coin a lot. I think Coin's super cool. So yeah, but I don't know, because for forever we were struggling about what genre I was going to fit into, because I think because my music taste is so diverse, I pull on so many diverse sounds. And I think it was Dan and Jared's job to kind of hone that in and go, all right, this is where we're going, because I had no idea. I was just writing songs with my guitar.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. That's interesting. So I guess the production process must have been really interesting too for the record, because if you bringing in singer-songwriter Americana influences and a small library of, you know, sample music that you've listened to over the last several years, like I'm sure that was interesting. So of them like trying to find, which, you know, I mentioned in the we keep mentioning the name Dan Hannon. If listeners don't know, Dan's worked with Paris Jackson and Manchester Orchestra, and he's an incredible producer. Jared, they're both friends of mine too. And Jared's an incredible musician, producer in his own right, and songwriter and all that sort of stuff. So, and all the people that you've worked with, Mike Ryan over there, who's a studio owner in Muscle Shoals. Did y'all record everything at Ivory Manor?
We did. We recorded everything at Ivy Manor in Muscle Shoals, Alabama, with Michael and Michael Raitt. And I think we did a few comps in Dan's studio in Buford. But for the most part, everything was recorded in Muscle Shoals.
Nice. Well, I know like if there's anybody to guide and not over direct, it's those guys, like, which I'm sure that's so interesting. I can't wait to hear the rest of the project now. Like, I just want to know, you know, the process and stuff too. And the vlogs have been killer.
Thank you.
If you're listening, you should go to, it's just youtube.com/Okay Kenedi, I'm sure, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay Kenedi, and Kenedi, Kenedi. Just go check it out and check out the vlogs. One of the things I love about the current state of the music industry that I think you're doing a great job at, and I don't know if this is something that just comes natural to you or something that you're just trying to build into the way that you interact with your audience and fans. But one of the things I love about the industry is you do get that peek behind the curtain. Like there's a lot of behind the scenes. There's a lot. And I think people love that kind of stuff. Have you gotten good connections and reactions from all the vlogs and BTS stuff?
Yeah. I mean, you can literally go on my YouTube right now and hear almost every song that's going to be on the record in its raw state. And I think most people don't even know that. So we've done so many vlogs recording the album that you literally hear me walk in with the song and then watch what everybody does to it.
Wow.
So if you're interested in what the rest of the album sounds like, I encourage you to go towards that vlog, because you literally get a behind the scenes sneak peek on all like everything. But yeah, I think it's really cool. I've got a lot of good feedback on the vlogs and in the process of working with Dan and Michael and Jared and making the record, and what it looks like to bring, as an artist, to bring something you wrote alone in your room on like with an iPhone recording into a group of people with a bunch of music industry experience, and then how the two of you can collaborate to make a final product. And that's something I had to learn about, because I obviously never done that before. And I think they took special care to like, I think they saw me as a person first and was like, okay, we see you, and we want to like, I don't know, highlight who you are in your music when we produce it. So I came in with songs, and they just got to know me for a minute. We hung out and we shared meals, and we just did a bunch of stuff so that they could figure out who I was as a person. I think that helped them figure out how to develop a sound. And that, because Dan was super big on that. He's like, I don't want to take away from you as a person, so I need to know who you are first. Awesome. And I value that, because I know that's probably not common. So he was super careful to, I don't know, get to know me, and still is getting to know me, and use who he knows I am to partner with how he makes music. And so that made a really cool partnership, I think. Yeah.
Did they, just knowing now, like you have a little bit of a small sample size when it comes to, just listening and diving into music. Did they drive you around the shoals? Cause it's, and like show you all the spots and like tell you all the history. Like Mike knows everybody over there.
He does.
And everything about the town, but Muscle Shoals is rich. I was just listening to Sticky Fingers, Rolling Stone Sticky Fingers, my favorite album of all time. It has been for years. Cool. I own it on every conceivable format, multiple vinyls, 8-track, cassette, like everything. I just love the album. And part of it was recorded in Muscle Shoals, and, Respect and Mustang Sally and I'll Take You There. And I mean, just all these massive hits. So did you absorb some history while you were over there tracking?
I did. And they took me to Fame Studios too.
Nice.
And here I am wearing an Aretha Franklin shirt,
Very nice. Very nice.
So they did. They've been super careful to educate me on everything I'm doing over there and walk me through the names and the history, and like right across the street, this is where this person lived and he recorded this guy. And so, yeah, it's almost like when you go to Ivy Manor and you record, Michael Raitt will give you also a music history tour as well. So
nice.
It was super cool.
Nice. Do you remember the first show that you got to see? Like the first concert you ever saw in your life?
Yeah, I saw John Mark McMillian in Nashville.
Nice.
Cannery Ballrooms, I believe, and it's closed now, which is unfortunate, because I was like, I really want to play here one day. But I listened to him do his record Borderland.
Oh yeah, that's killer.
Which I thought that was a really cool album, and he was really, really great live. And I did the whole Q&A package, so I got to hear him talk about his writing and answer questions and stuff, and then do like a little acoustic song for everybody, just right up and like right in front of you. So that was cool.
What's your favorite live show you've ever seen?
I don't know that I've seen my favorite yet. I haven't seen one that's like, I don't know, taking my breath away or whatever. And I have a list of people I would love to see live, but
who's on that list?
Brandi Carlisle.
All right. Do you need me to read them back to you? I can.
I think you have the list. I think you're actually holding it.
No. They're in there. You hadn't seen Guns N' Roses yet.
I haven't either. Yeah. Because remember, I don't know that I'm allowed to be doing this still. So
I mean, I don't know. I don't have any authority in your life, but you can make a list. Who you want to see? Who you want to see? Who's out there?
Yeah, I want to see everybody, really, because now, like, I'm new to this. I feel like a kid. Like, I'm like, it's Christmas and I can do whatever I want now. So it's like, who don't I want to see? It's name someone and I probably like, yeah. And also, just even if I haven't heard of them, I've really started to love live music. I never really was exposed to that growing up. So now that I am, it's like when you first had sugar or coffee and you're like, oh my gosh, I want it all the time. So it's like, I don't know, I can name all my favorite artists I want to see. I want to see Brandi Carlisle. I want to see Maggie. I want to see Coin. I want to see Bruno Mars, I heard, does a phenomenal live show. Michael goes to see him in Las Vegas all the time, and he always talks about how phenomenal his live show is. Because in Anderson .Paak, I mean, got to be phenomenal. So I would love to see Zach Bryan live, since his music I've been listening to recently.
Nice.
I don't know. I could sit here and just pull up my iTunes and just name all my like favorite playlists, people off my playlist. I just like so eager to absorb as much as I can, as fast as I can.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of a sponge at the moment.
I love it. So now I know that you have songs because you put some stuff together for me. So I'm assuming you have like an album's worth of material or ish. Okay.
Yeah.
And that at some point we're going to hear something other than the single.
Yeah.
Are there plans you can share like for the next step or anything like that?
I know next single is going to be released in March.
Nice.
You're the first person to hear that, so
excellent.
That's a little insider, yeah. And then from there, I think it's kind of a monitor the situation and see if we release another single or we go ahead and release an album.
Nice.
Yeah.
Any touring plans or anything else?
I'm playing just all over the place right now in February at a bunch of coffee shops and breweries and a few shows, like ticketed shows in Atlanta. And then the goal is at the end of March to do my first little regional tour.
Nice.
So trying to go just around the Southeast. So
nice.
That would be my first time like going on any kind of tour out of the state.
Nice. Are you going to headline or are you trying to jump on a support with somebody or?
I think I want to jump on support with someone since I'm new to it and I'm trying to like build up a fan base in other states and cities, and we've made some connections playing shows with people that have come here. Sure. That I think we're gonna like show exchange. Like, hey, can I come support you? You know, in Gainesville, Florida. I just played a show with Late Night Losers, and so I think I'm gonna go play in Gainesville, their hometown, because they just came to Atlanta and I headlined a show here where they opened for me. So now it's like, hey, can I go? To your hometown.
I love that.
Yeah.
That's fantastic. What else you got coming up? Shows?
Yeah.
Single?
I'm going tonight, playing a show in Underground Atlanta at Mike
Stancy's.
Nice. Yeah. And so then tomorrow I got a show at Eddie's Attic for the Writer's Block.
Very cool.
I got like 4 shows this week. So that's the most pressing thing, I think. Is
it all on the website?
Yeah, everything's on my website. Everything's on my socials. So I keep all the information up on both.
Awesome. Well, it's great to talk to you. I really appreciate you being on the show. I was floored by the single, still am. Think it's great. I can't wait to hear the rest of the record, or at least the next single. And if you guys are unfamiliar with Okay Kenedi's music, you can follow her everywhere on social media, just at Okay Kenedi. Kenedi's Kenedi. So go follow, go keep up with the vlogs, check the website, go see her live if you're in the Atlanta Southeast area over the next couple months, and stream and share the single. Every once in a while you hear something that you just go, wow, that's different. This was one of those tunes, just for me personally, which is why I reached out and just like, gosh, I gotta have you on the show. So I appreciate the time.
Thank you. I'm excited. Thank you for having me, and excited to share the next single with you. I think I really like it. Yeah.
Well, it's going to be awesome. Take care. Appreciate it.
You too, man.
Well, thanks for joining us. Really enjoyed that conversation with Kenedi. She is a phenomenal artist, super fun person. Go listen to Young, Dumb, and Naive. If you haven't heard it, go stream it. Watch the official video on YouTube. Go check out the vlogs. Go check out her website. She's obviously got a lot of dates coming up. And it's great to see an artist like this when they're playing these small venues, because I'm telling you, she's going to blow up. And then you're going to have to buy tickets to State Farm, and they're not cheap. You know what I'm saying? So go see her while you can. At some of these great venues around the Georgia area, or when she announces these tour dates around the Southeast that are coming up for her, and all that sort of stuff. So check her out, stream the single, watch the YouTube stuff, all that good stuff. Support great artists and great music. Make sure to check out the show notes. I'm going to drop all the artists that we talked about in there, as well as some links to Kenedi's music and video for Young, Dumb, and Naive, and all that sort of stuff's in the show notes. So if you're listening on Apple Podcasts, you can just go click down there. Make sure that, or YouTube, or wherever you're listening, it'll be in the show notes. Make sure you subscribe and make sure you follow us on social media. We're just at MyFi Podcast everywhere, and you can find out everything you need to know about the show and find old episodes and all that sort of stuff on the interwebs at MyFiPodcast.com. So go check it out. And until next time, have a good one.